The Digestive System by Allie Lundell. The digestive system and what it does. The human digestive system is designed to break down food, absorb nutrients, and remove waste. This process involves both the gastrointestinal tract and the accessory organs. Today we'll explore each part of this system and discuss its roles in digestion, with a special focus on how it helps process macronutrients like carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids. In the diagram on the left, you'll see the digestive system as a whole, starting with the mouth, down the esophagus, and into the stomach. After the food reaches the stomach, it goes into the small intestine, and from the small, it goes to the large and out the rectum. First, we're going to talk about the oral cavity. The oral cavity is where digestion begins and where the food enters the body. First, in this diagram, you can see things like the mouth as a whole, the teeth that grind up the food, the tongue that move it around, and the salivary glands that produce saliva. So first, we're going to start with the teeth. Digestion begins in the mouth, where your teeth grind and break down food into smaller pieces, making it easier for the digestive enzymes to work. This is also known as mastication. Next, the tongue mixes the food with saliva to form bolus, which is then swallowed. And the whole point of the food mixing with the saliva is to make it easier to swallow as a whole. The next part is the salivary glands. There are three major glands. The three major ones are the parotid, submandibular, and subinguinal. Saliva produced by the salivary glands contain an amylase, an enzyme that starts breaking down carbohydrates right in the mouth. The breakdown of carbohydrates begin here, setting the stage for nutrient absorption later in the digestive tract. Next, we're going to look at the esophagus. In the diagram shows the esophagus, and it's labeled with parts like the epiglottis, the glottis, and the paralysis. Once you swallow food, it moves to the esophagus, a muscular tube that connects your mouth to your stomach. The esophagus uses a process called peristalsis, which is a series of wave-like contractions that push food down your esophagus. Something that is also in your esophagus is your glottis and your epiglottis. The glottis is the opening of the windpipe, which is the pipe that you breathe out of, and the epiglottis is the little flap that prevents food from entering it. And when you choke, it's usually food getting stuck in that airway. The next portion that we will look at is the stomach. So in this diagram, you see the stomach showing the different layers and what's inside. In the stomach, food is mixed with gastric juices to form chyme. The stomach has specialized structures to aid in digestion. The gastroesophageal sphincter. This is the valve that controls the entry of food into the stomach. Next, you have the pyloric sphincter. It regulates the exit of chyme from the stomach into the small intestine. The rugae are the folds in the stomach. When the stomach expands, when it has food in it, obviously, the folds get bigger, and that allows the stomach to expand. The stomach has three muscle layers: longitudinal, circular, and oblique. They all work together to churn food, mixing it with the digestive enzymes and acid. Your stomach also has glands and secrete different acids to aid in digestion. The stomach secretes hypochloric acid, which helps break down proteins, and pepsin, an enzyme that further aids in digestion. The next part that we will look at will be the small intestine. In the diagram of the small intestine, it's labeled with all the different parts: the duodenum, the jejunum, hypotonic sphincter, the liver, the gallbladder, the pancreas, and the brush border. The duodenum is the first part of the small intestine. where the chyme mixes with the bile from the liver and the enzymes from the pancreas. The next part is the hepatopancreatic sphincter. This sphincter controls the release of bile and the pancreatic juices. After it goes through this sphincter, it goes into the liver. The liver produces bile, which aids in digestion. The digestion of fat, that is. The bile is stored in the gallbladder, and when the bile is needed, the gallbladder releases it to aid in the fat digestion. The pancreas produces digestive enzymes that break down carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, and then secretes them to the duodenum. The jejunum and the ileum are responsible for absorbing nutrients. The remaining parts of the small intestine are responsible for these nutrients. They are lined with villi and microvilli that greatly increase the surface area. The brush border contains the microvilli that help absorb the nutrients into the bloodstream. The plicae circularis helps slow the movement of food, giving it more time for the nutrients to get absorbed. Segmentation and paralysis. Segmentation helps mix the chyme, while paralysis moves it along the intestine, allowing nutrients to be absorbed along the way. The next part that we are going to be looking at will be the large intestine. In the diagram, you can see the different parts of the large intestine, starting with the cecum, the ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon, and the rectum, and it all comes out the anus. The ileocecal valve controls the entry of material into the large intestine. It starts in the small and moves to the large. The cecum is the first part of the large intestine, where the undigested food begins its journey through the colon. The large intestine consists of ascending, transverse, descending, and sigmoid colon, which primarily they all work together to absorb water and salts from the remaining food material. The rectum and the anus. The rectum stores the waste until it is ready to be eliminated, and the anus controls the release of the waste from the body. Mass movements are powerful contractions that push the waste toward the rectum for eventual elimination. While the large intestine doesn't absorb many nutrients, it is essential for water and electrolyte absorption, which helps prevent dehydration and maintains electrolyte balance. And this is a recap. This is the digestive system as a whole again. It starts in the oral cavity, slowly moves down the esophagus, and into the stomach. In the stomach, the acids and enzymes break it down, and it's moved into the small intestine. The small intestine mainly just absorbs all the food and further breaks it down. It slowly moves into the large intestine, where water and electrolytes and salt are absorbed. Each part of the digestive system plays a vital role in breaking down food and absorbing nutrients. From mechanical digestion in the mouth to chemical digestion in the system, and absorption in the small intestine. Understanding how these organs work together is essential for maintaining good health. Remember, a healthy digestive system is key to optimal nutrition and overall wellness. Thank you for watching my video, and that is all about the digestive system.